Hey everyone and welcome back. Today I'm going to talk to you about newborn essentials. It just so happens that I've got 10 things here that I didn't do that on purpose, and there's going to be a mixture of me showing you things that I've got here, a few things I can hold up to the camera, and then I've also got things that I'm going to do as cutaways that are kind of like all set up, like one of the machines is plugged in the kitchen. I ain't about to start traipsing upstairs. As much as I love you all, you'll get the same idea if I just show you sat on the kitchen top. So I'm going to do these in the order that I've written them down on my little sheet of paper that I have very organised. I've been very organised and prepared this video for you all. The first thing that I'm going to talk to you about is the Sleepyhead. Now, the Sleepyhead is a product that it's rammed down people's throats, I think, when you're expecting, especially on YouTube. They're very, very popular. You see them everywhere. I know there are a lot of different kinds. To be honest, we went for the Sleepyhead because it was the one that people talked about the most, and I was a bit lazy with my research and didn't really want to faff around with any of the other ones that might be available when I'd heard so many good things about the Sleepyhead and that people had really gotten on with it. So it's essentially a baby mattress that makes them feel cocooned. It's got like a kind of raised area all around it. You'll have seen it, and I'll show you on the cutaway. It's right in front of me here, that's why I'm looking over there. And for the first 10 days he didn't sleep in it, and I was like, okay, I've spent nearly £200 on a baby mattress and he doesn't want to know it, it's not going to work, this was such a waste of money, why did I invest in this, why did I need it? And looking back, I probably now would have not bought it straight away. Well, I don't know, I'm in two minds. I kind of like being prepared and having it, and if we needed it, it was there to use, because that's what it ended up being like. It was like, right, let's put him in this, it might work. But then at the start, he didn't really use it, and if we didn't have it and we tried his normal cot mattress that comes with the snuzz pod that we bought for him, he might have just slept in that. I don't know, because we tried him in the Sleepyhead straight away, if that makes sense. But for the first 10 days, he would only sleep on my chest or on Tommy's chest, and he wasn't interested at all on being asleep anywhere else. Then he gradually started nodding off in his pram in the house, like downstairs during the day. He would have naps in there, and obviously if we'd been out on a walk. And then gradually at night we started popping him in the Sleepyhead and he started settling in it, and now it's like a miracle. As soon as he's in it, he's so settled and he just kind of like nuzzles back into it, because we put him in on his back, which is what they recommend, and he's just so content. I really do think it's worked a trick, and I'm really, really glad that we purchased it. I really do think it's worth the money. Second of all, I've got the prep machine. I think it's the Perfect Prep machine. I always call it Prep and Prime, which is a makeup product, but it's by Tommy Tippy, and it's essentially a product, well, a machine that makes bottles for you. I'll talk about feeding and breastfeeding and why we're on bottles and things like that in a different video, but this prep machine has been a godsend. Just made feeding with a bottle so much easier on formula, because you can pop in how much formula you want in the bottle, and whether you use it straight away or whether you use it further along down the line, if your baby ever does go on to formula, you pop how much formula you want in the bottle, select how many ounces you need on the machine, it pours in the hot shot of water, you then shake the bottle, then it adds cold water, voila, you've got a baby bottle at the perfect room temperature. We have kind of used the kettle and tried to muddle through that way as well, but it's so much easier to use the machine. My mother-in-law at first was like, well, why wouldn't you just use the kettle? I'm used to using the kettle, I'm fine to use the kettle. And she was like making those bottles up and keeping them in the fridge, and we were warming them with the bottle warmer. And then gradually she's seen how good it is to use this machine and how easy it is for when you need a bottle there and then. It literally is done in minutes, and it's the perfect temperature, so there's no faffing around kind of heating it up or warming it, cooling it down. It's been a real good thing to have, to be honest. It wasn't cheap, but I'm so glad that we invested, because we've had our use out of it. Then I've written down John Lewis muslin cloths. So muslin cloths are something that you will need a lot of, and they're handy for everything. You can use them for everything. You can use them to swaddle in, you can use them as a little light blanket, you can use them to wipe snot from the nose, you can use them to wipe snot from your own nose, and you can use them, I use them mostly to throw over my shoulder when I'm burping him, so it doesn't end up all down my back, basically. He's crying downstairs. Tommy's with him, don't worry. You kind of work out very quickly what is going to work for you and what isn't very, very early on. And I bought some cheaper muslins, some more expensive muslins that were a lot thinner and a lot smaller. And they're a bit of a faff. They don't stay on your shoulder. He pulls them down quite often, so if there's not enough fabric there, it's off your shoulder before you know it. And the thin ones are just so flimsy that you can't really do much with them. The ones that I found from John Lewis, I think you get 3 for maybe 18 or 20 pounds, which are a little bit pricey, but they are my favourite ones. Those ones and the next ones, I will link them down below, and I'll pop little pictures up here. The John Lewis ones are just a little bit cuter because they have different patterns, and they're a little bit bigger than the next ones. But they are so soft, and they're just like the perfect size. So if you're looking for some, or someone wants to buy you a present, I would recommend the ones from John Lewis the most. They've been really good, and they're just really lovely muslin cloths, so they're my favourite ones. White baby vest you can't have enough of. He's now in 3 to 6 month clothing. My little almost 8-week-old baby, as I'm filming this, is in 3 to 6 month clothing. But you really do churn through these baby vests, just the short sleeve ones. And I didn't realise how many of those I would need, because obviously if you have any kind of wee little mishaps or any poo explosions, you're changing those vests quite often. I feel like it's gone very dark outside, so I apologise if the lighting's changed a little bit. I have got my lights on up here, but yeah, white baby vests. My favourite, I think, were the next ones, or are the next ones. I really like the Tesco ones as well. He had them from when he was newborn. The ones that I really didn't like were the ones from Asda, just because they had kind of like an extra bit of material, like a rib around the arm, and because when his arms are getting a little bit chunkier, they were like cutting into him around his arm, so as the next ones are more like t-shirt ones, so there was no kind of like, they weren't cutting around his skin, if that makes sense. It was just like a t-shirt sleeve. So I'd recommend those ones, and buy more than you think you need. The baby bath, we have got the Angel Care. That's the baby monitor. I don't know what it's called, but it's like a baby seat. I will show you. And we've used that every time he's had a bath. We do bath him quite regularly because we wanted to get him into that routine. And I do feel like for a baby that's been sat in like a wet nappy or a poo nappy for a time, or there's been poo or sick messes, then it's nice for him to have a bath as well, and he loves his bath. He's so happy in this seat. We do get him out and kind of hold him in the water as well with our arms, but the seat has been really good, not only for like at the start when I wasn't too confident with holding him myself in the bath with my arm, but when other people have come to bath him, so like my sister who is 20 and has not really any experience with bathing a baby before, with him in there, knowing that he's safe, it made it really easy. And it was just nice that it means that people that aren't very confident holding him in the water can still bath him and have that experience with him and know that he's safe. Obviously you don't take your eyes off him, but it's a lot easier. You can just pop them in there and then kind of like pour the water over it, and he was really happy. It's really easy to clean down, and it's just been a really nice thing to have, and they're not very expensive, so I would go down that route if you've not sorted a bath already. Baby scissors are something I can show you. Now, when I was in hospital, the midwives were like, do not use scissors on your newborn baby to cut their nails, but I have much preferred using these. These were part of a set from Tommy Tippy. I think it was about £12. You get a brush, a comb, all sorts of things that we haven't used yet, but the main thing that we have used are these scissors. We were told just to kind of nibble his nails when he was newborn, and I did that for the first couple of times, but I honestly felt like it was such an upheaval, because by the time I'd done 2 he was awake because there's someone munching at the end of your fingers, and I wouldn't get anywhere with it, and it really was difficult to kind of bite through them, because although they're quite fine, it's not easy biting someone's nails to cut them down, trying not to bite the finger off, trying not to wake them up. It just wasn't easy, and their nails grow so quickly. I cannot tell you when they are first born that you need to do it so often, otherwise they scratch themselves silly. And this has just made the process so much easier, and the shape of them make it really easy to do. I do it when he's asleep, so he's really still, and if the second he moves, the scissors off straight away from obviously his hand. I just pull his little, kind of like the skin behind his fingernail back as far as I can, and then snip them down. And if I feel like I don't want to get too close to his actual nail, then there is a nail file in there as well that I use to kind of soften them and get them down a little bit shorter. But we've really been thankful of these, and we did try and nibble them for a while, but it's just so much easier and less stressful for him as well, I think, to use these. So I'd recommend those. Blankets, I've got a couple of my favourites to show you. The first, I'll link them down below, as with everything I'm talking about, if I can still find it. The first one is one that we bought, and I have loved this because it's super stretchy and soft, and I love the design on it. I honestly have loved this, and it's quite thin, so it means if you want to layer him up, you don't feel like he's going to get too hot. It's nice to have a mixture of really thin blankets and thicker blankets. That one was from Mamas and Papas. This one is from the White Company. This was a present from his great auntie and great grandma, and I love this. It's so soft, and it's that little bit thicker, so obviously he's a winter baby, so this has really come in handy. And if we've gone out during the day, we've not faffed with a pamper suit because they can't really wear them in the car seats anyway because they're too thick. So we kind of pop him in his outfit, maybe a thin cardigan and a hat, and then pile on the blankets and like tuck him in all snugly. And you just, it's been amazing how many you need. You need one for his crib, maybe two for his crib, one for the car seat, put one in the pram, have one downstairs if he falls asleep on you and it's a bit chilly. I can't recommend having enough blankets. And if you're looking for like presents to buy people, I think blankets are a really good way to go. I've asked for 2 more for him for Christmas because we just have them everywhere. They're really handy to have everywhere. Next, I'm going to talk to you about my little nappy tub. So this we have in the front room. I'll just put this in it as well. And this was from H&M. They have a lot on there. I bought this when I was pregnant with him, and I didn't actually buy it for this purpose, but this is what it's been used for. So it's quite a good size. It's very squishy, and we have this in the living room. I have little nappy stations in most of the rooms in the house, I will confess. But this is the one that we have in the living room, so it kind of goes with the living room as well. It doesn't look like, you know, stick out like a sore thumb. And in here, I just have all of his essentials, like day-to-day essentials. So I always have the nappy sacks in there. Only really use them when we're out of the house, or if we're in the house if he has a smelly poo. We don't really use them for wet nappies, they just go straight in the bin outside. Water wipes, these are the wipes we're using for him. They're they're like midwife approved. They're very like gentle to his skin, and they're very wet, which oh, I scratched myself. They're very wet, so you don't need too many to get the job done. We've loved these. They're a little bit more pricier than some of the wipes, but I think that they're very much worth it. We're all full up with a cold at the moment in this household. Here's nappy change cream, or nappy rash cream. We haven't used an awful lot of this. His skin, thankfully, has been really good. We didn't bath him with any soap or anything until a couple of nights ago. So he was 7 weeks old and a few days before we used any kind of like soap on him in the bath. We've got the Aveeno one, which he really likes. Or his skin seems to really like, and he smells divine after we've used it. It's all natural, and it's for delicate skin, and when we have used this, it's kind of like cleared up any redness straight away, and it smells incredible. So I keep that in here. I always have like the odd bib, muslin cloth, spare sleep suit as well, kind of like tucked in down the bottom, and then the rest is just a lot of nappies. So everything is in here when we need to grab it, which has been really handy, not only for us, but if people have come round and they need to change his nappy, it's like everything's in there. And I just top it up as and when it needs it. I honestly can't recommend having something like that enough. It's been really good. Number 9 is Percy the Penguin. Now, we were really lucky enough to be sent Percy by the Grow Company, but they've not asked me to feature him in this video. This isn't sponsored at all. He has just been an absolute lifesaver. Like, if I've ever loved some kind of toy or contraption as much as I love Percy the Penguin, I honestly cannot tell you. Now, I know that all babies are different and that different things work for different babies, but before we got on the dummy train, which is a completely different topic, when he wasn't settling and he was really unsettled and he wouldn't fall asleep and he wouldn't sleep anywhere other than on me and Tommy, this has worked an absolute treat. So it basically plays white noise, a lullaby, a heartbeat. It's got a little light on its stomach. We basically hang this over his crib, tuck it down the side, and he goes to sleep with it every night. So this is the white noise sound. It has 3 different volume settings and also a cry sensor. So if you hold it down, that means the cry sensor's on. So as soon as it hears baby cry, it starts. So during the night, if he like murmurs or is unsettled, how do I turn the bottom thing off? There we go. Or is unsettled, this has just sends him back to sleep basically. I think it's really comforting for them to have that bit of background noise, and it's just been incredible. It has a waterfall sound as well, which he really likes. We use this in the car on the way to Whitby. It made the car journey so much easier. They're about £30, I want to say, but completely worth it. And if you're after a present to buy someone, I would honestly recommend this. Ollie the Owl was the original. Percy the Penguin is quite new. Penguins are my favourite animal, so I love that we've got him. And the fact that he's baby blue as well is just really cute. But I honestly can't recommend Percy enough. Honestly, for those nights and those days where he just wouldn't stop crying and he was really, really tired, I literally would just look at Tom and be like, "Where's Percy? Get me Percy." And he works a treat. And until you've seen it happen, you wouldn't believe it. When the batteries run out, honestly, it's like the batteries have run out on Percy when you realise. But I honestly can't recommend this enough. This is definitely up there in the top 5 things that we've had for him as a newborn. And then the last thing that I want to mention before my battery runs out is his car seat. We've had the Maxi Cozy Pebble Plus. We have the grey and blue one, and he's very, very snug in it. He's been very happy. It's really, really light, easy to use. The best thing about it is the adapter that Maxi Cozy do for the car. I think it's the two-way family adapter. I don't know what it's called. I'll pop a link down below. It's basically a big old contraption that you stick on the seat in the car before you obviously put the car seat in there, and it stays in the car. And it means that when I go to put him in the car, I literally grab the car seat. Obviously he's in the car seat. Get the car seat, put it on top of this thing, the adapter for the car. It beeps to tell me he's in securely, and that's it. And then when I need to get him out, I press a button and lift the car seat off. It's so easy. And I feel like it's a bit of a princess product. It's not a necessity whatsoever. But compared to what the normal car seat adapter costs were, it's not that much more expensive. And it's so much easier for me when I'm already faffing, and it's quite difficult to get out of the house sometimes, and having that just makes it so much easier. It means he's in the car within seconds, and I know he's in securely as well. I'm not worried about like strapping seatbelts around him or any other kind of adapter that might be a little bit trickier. I will pop a link to that down below, and maybe someone's like video on YouTube that shows how to use it, because it has honestly been like the best thing, and it makes it so easy. And that stays in my car. We haven't actually had to change it into Tommy's car yet, because we've only been using the one car with him in it, but it's just made the whole process so much easier. So I can't recommend that enough. And the car seat as well has little adapters that fix onto the pram, so it means that our pram base, which is a silver cross, we can pop the car seat on as well. So if we're just nipping around the supermarket for a few minutes, we can pop him in that base as well. So that's worked really, really well. I definitely would recommend having a car seat that fits onto your pram base, because it's nice to have the option. Obviously it's better for them to be flat, but if you're only out for like 10 minutes, it's been really, really good to have. Or if I'm taking him somewhere, like if I'm going to the doctors with him and I don't want to carry him all that way, it's good just to get him in there in that base. That's it. They're my essentials. Any questions, as always, please leave them in the comments. Really hope you enjoyed this. I really racked my brains to go through the things that I really, really, really would recommend to other people, and this is everything. There obviously will be more things as he grows older, but I'll do more update videos like that as he does get older. That's it for now. I really hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you all very soon. Thank you for watching.